Hello, everybody, and I don't know if it's my professor, if it's someone random checking out this video. Welcome to my final 3 lesson plans on my final project for my SEL class. I felt like it's kind of cheating, but it's kind of not because I got an awesome content area, but I'm certified in health and physical education. So I chose to do my SEL project or my SEL lesson plans in health, which correlates great with SEL. So it felt like it's cheating, but it's really not. That's one of the greatest reasons why I like choosing health as a subject because you can really talk about anything. My first lesson plan, or all my lesson plans, 2 of them are on understanding healthy relationships. The other one is on stress management. So we'll walk through the first one now. The main idea is understanding how people maintain and improve their mental and emotional health and how it can improve their and others' mental and emotional health and quality of life. So basically, when I came up with this, or when I was coming up with this, I wanted to do something with like ninth graders, high school age, and I wanted to really talk about what it means to understand friends and friendship and things like that. Uh, when we were supposed to do our other project for this class, I kind of did something similar to it and made like a brochure, and I kind of am taking the next steps, not a brochure, a PowerPoint, and I'm taking the next steps kind of to that lesson plan and what I had planned. A lot of classes, especially when I teach health, I like it to come from students. So I like a lot of discussion based classes. I think it's the most effective, especially a lot of students don't have an opportunity to share their voice, especially young people. They don't get the chance to share their voice. So I wanted to start off this lesson with discussions. And my first question was going to be, what is it that what is it people do that suggests their mental or emotional health? So basically, what is mental and emotional health? First, let's start talking about that. Give the class a few minutes to talk about that. How do you determine a person's mental and emotional health? Again, these are very broad questions. Do people need to be able to do to have and maintain mental and emotional health? Again, just want to get them started or introduced to the idea of like, what is it? How do you deal with it? And then basically what we're going to be doing today is a character's mental health lab. So what I want to do is I want the students to think about someone that they're watching on a show or a TV movie, whatever they're watching. It could be an anime, it could be a cartoon. I want them to think about who is the person or the character, their favorite character, and what would you rate their mental health as? How would you describe their mental health? What would it be like? Maybe somebody's watching something where the person is going through a lot. A lot of the kids or the popular shows now, people are kind of really going through it. And not judging what you watch, most of the kids will be able to determine if the person is in a healthy state or in a non-healthy state. And what we're going to do is go into groups and kind of pick one person. It doesn't even have to be a show. It could be a comic book. It could be a manga. It could be a comic strip. It could be anything. Basically, we're going to talk about their mental health. There's a worksheet that they can go through. And I provided them with a reference sheet of someone who has a healthy mental and emotional health, what that actually looks like. And so what they will do is they'll put their character, as you guys can see right in here. It's like a graphic organizer. Basically write how their person is feeling, where they're from, their belonging, their purpose. Are they self-sufficient, their self-esteem? And they're just going to write different characteristics of their emotional health. And hopefully this will get them starting to understand what emotional health looks like and what mental health looks like. And it's something that will relate to them, as well as eventually they should be able to look at themselves and fill out the same category or graphic organizer. So that's the first lesson. Really simple, straightforward, but I think it'll be fun, first of all, for kids. And I think it'll be something that'll get them going. And then we're just going to discuss kind of what they wrote down, the different 5 categories. Excuse me for that. That's my mom. And kind of discussing what's going on. And then from there, we'll move to the next lesson plan, which is socially healthy relationships. And basically, this is another discussion. You start the lesson off by discussing what are social or healthy relationships? What do they look like? What are relationships? What makes a relationship healthy? How do people nurture healthy relationships? This is something that I would love to pair with that PowerPoint that I put together beforehand, because I think it would be great. It would be great just to talk about with students. And so from there, it's really just a lot of talking, but you're putting again students in groups and having them brainstorm answers to the 3 discussion questions that we said before. So basically what they will do is they will get a healthy relationships worksheet, but this is more like a reference sheet. It's a resource sheet, and this will just tell you like what a good relationship looks like, what you're looking for in a relationship. Then they're going to brainstorm in their groups what makes healthy relationships. Really simple questions. What is a relationship, or what are relationships? What makes a healthy relationship? And how do people nurture healthy relationships? This is, again, I want them to talk to each other about things. Not that I want things to get off topic, but I want them to kind of dive deep into these questions. If somebody disagrees with what somebody else would put, I want to kind of discuss that. And a lot of this time, I would like to monitor the classroom, but I would like them to work in groups and kind of hear what they want to say, or hear what they have to say. And then from there, we'd work on a healthy relationships worksheet. First, going through and you're writing the positives and negatives or neutral out of these 17 questions. And then there's one that they can decide for themselves. And then what's it called? You're gonna write goals to describe characteristics you use or would like to use for healthy relationships. So just out of all the things that we discussed today or in that classroom, write down 10 things that you want to bring to your healthy relationship, and then describe how relationships are affect areas of health. So I want them to not only talk about how relationships affect them and their mental health, but also how it affects other dimensions of health. So is it their social health, or their physical health, or their emotional health, or their occupational health, their finance health, or business health? So there's just a lot that can tie into this. Again, I really want it to originate from the students, and then from there, we'll take it and run with it. And then this last lesson plan is basically just understanding stress. Basically, I just want to talk about what stress truly means. Begin the class really with the 3 questions of have you ever been under stress recently? How does stress affect you? And do you have a kind of red warning flag that indicates too much stress? Again, get the students talking about stress, not defining it, because a lot of people already know what stress is, but we're going to define it more as we get into this activity. Then I'm going to give them a stress test worksheet, which is this right here. Very simple. You're going to fill it out 4 through 1, what you're feeling. And I don't want them to think about what's going on in the next 5 years or stressful moments coming up in the next few months. I just want them to think about the past 2 to 3 weeks and fill out their stress test. And then we'll go over the scores together. Then we'll ask some questions. First one is, what's the first thing that pops up in your head when you hear the word stress? We all talk about stress, but what is it? How would you define it? What are different types of stress responses? And then really what I want to talk about is fight, flight, or freeze. And that's going to go into our closure activity, which basically is I want the kids to come up with fight, flight, or freeze. I want them to either draw a picture of the 3 different responses that they can have, or they can write a short story, or if they want to get real non-creative and just give me the facts, they can give me personal essays about it. No more than like a page. Just write it down, and that will count more as like their exit ticket, but also like that's what I'll be assessing them on. But again, I think it'll be something that they'll start realizing through our discussions and taking the stress test. I want them to start realizing like, man, I am getting a little overwhelmed and overstressed about certain things. And hopefully the next class, we can talk about some positive solutions on how to release stress in a positive way. So those are my 3 lessons. Thank you for checking this out. I might have gone a little bit over. I know it's only 3 to 5 minutes, but hopefully you enjoyed them and you guys have a blessed day. Bye-bye.